Microphone check 1 2 and all right, so happy Tuesday. It is after coffee, right? Well, I'm enjoying the coffee right now. I usually hit you guys up before coffee and my voice sounds like Barry White, James Earl Jones when I first wake up. But after I have coffee, it's a little bit more, mellow. It's a little bit more polished and smooth. Oh, yeah. Billy D. Williams, Colt 45. Works every time, baby. Okay, so it's December the 1st, 2020. This year's getting on out of here. A lot of people are calling 2020 a dumpster fire. The first time I heard that phrase, I was just like, wow, people are so creative. That's a very artistic phrase. But, we as Americans, we have a way of describing things to the nth degree. Sometimes we take it too far, but that's a whole nother level. Key and Peele. There's a whole nother level. So yes, December the 1st, and I'm one of those. And when I say I'm one of those, it's like as soon as Thanksgiving dinner is over, as soon as the last Thanksgiving dinner plate is washed and put into the dryer, right? The dish colander, whatever you want, whatever you have, right? I am pulling up some Christmas music. I'm pulling up the Joyful. I'm pulling up the Little Boy Drummer. I'm pulling up, oh my God, everything. 12 Days of Christmas. Everything, yo. Everything. I love it. I love Christmas music. Mariah Carey's album is a classic now. And I must confess, when I first heard the album, because I bought it off one of those like BMG Columbia get 1,000 CDs for 2 cents. Y'all remember those? And so, I listened to it and I was just like, okay, this is good. It's Mariah Carey. But I was just like, I want to hear Mariah Carey someday. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear Mariah Carey, Visions of Love. You feel me? And so that Christmas album for me at the time was like, it's good, but it's not the Mariah that I love. And then the whole world embraced the album. And so then it just like blew up, she waited. And so now I'm like, oh, yeah. I like that Mariah Christmas album. Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, I've been up on that. That ain't even my steez. But, so I love Christmas music, man. I love Christmas music. And it's getting to that time of year that as a recording artist, if you haven't like really started writing or have had the writing done for your Christmas album, like now's the time for your release dates to be put in. Like your release date should be in for Christmas albums. If your release date is not in, you need to get it in. You need to get your Christmas album release date in. Unless you're doing a single. Singles, you can slide in there like, you can slide in there. You can wait until like the 17th and be like, blam, here's my release, on Christmas Eve. It's dropping, But, I got up today. I listened to some Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z Holy Grail. And I listened to some Cry Me a River and What Goes Around Comes Around. I'm a great big Justin Timberlake fan. And his Man of the Woods album, not so much. But he's an amazing vocalist and he's an amazing writer. And Jay-Z, of course, you know, this cat has outsold the Beatles. You know what I'm saying? He does stadiums and whatnot. And I was thinking about him and Kanye's production. And I'm hoping that the Beehive don't come after me. But I feel like the only entity that could get us another Butter album from Kanye and Jay-Z is the Beehive. Right? So it's like, oh, hear me out on this. Okay, so this is a entity of people that attack issues that are important to B, her brand, everything. But the thing that I want to highlight is the sheer numbers. The sheer number. They're actually like a real beehive. Like, you ever watch bees and where they have like a rogue drone and then one of the drones gets out of line and then all the other drones attack that drone? It's just like, yo, you're not acting in the best interest of the hive, so you gotta go. The numbers, the sheer numbers of people and shared interest would be a huge push if they all shared the interest of saying, hey, Jay-Z and Kanye, it's important for the Beehive to have another Jay-Z and Kanye album. The music is so good. Together, they're so good that it's unfortunate that we as the fans don't get a chance to hear more of the content that they could potentially make together. Not given, you know, I'm an artsy guy, and I understand some eras come to an end. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you have to appreciate, you know, Van Gogh and Picasso and Michelangelo and Tchaikovsky and Beethoven for what they made. You have to appreciate them for what they made already, and, you know, not, you know, be greedy. But this stuff is just so good. It's just like, you want to be greedy. So if any Beehive listeners are on the podcast, yo, I just want to put that in the universe. I just want to throw that out there into the universe. All right, so I had a listening session, you know, listen to some Jay-Z, listen to some Justin Timberlake, and listen to some Miley Cyrus. Miley's New Direction, like, low key. I'm a huge Miley Cyrus fan, and one day I would like to produce an album for her, with her. So Miley, if you listening, let's work. Let's work for real. I'm going to figure out how to get some beats to you through your people some type of way, and we are going to work together before my casket drop. But yeah, so Miley's New Direction is like big stadium stage beats, Tina Turner type vocals, and the writing is just it's plush. The writing on this album is so plush. The beats are off the chain. And so, you know, being a Miley fan, I know she went from like teeny bopper to pop to, she had her hip hop swag type flow in her music, and then she went country, and then she's got this amazing vocal range. But what I love about her is her lower register, how she can go to the deepest register of her voice and still be on key like a mug. So yeah, I was listening to her new album, and it's just amazing the growth to see her go from, a Disney kid like Justin Timberlake. I guess it's just a Disney type day for me. And boom, blow up she wait, and then just have these amazing ballads that I'm hearing on this album. It's crazy. But I be trying to drop jewels. I be trying to drop diamonds and whatnot on the podcast for, people who are artistic, people who love to write, people who love to record, people who love to make beats and to publish their music and things like that. And so I want to encourage you today to take the time out to study your craft. Don't be lazy. Like, it's important to look at people who do what you want to do and study them. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of sauce, all right? I'm going to give y'all a little sauce. This one's for producers. All right, so when I bought my first piece of gear, right, I bought my first keyboard with a sequencer on it. I said to myself, I need to get my production on the level of my favorites. And at that time, I didn't realize that there were so many different production styles that were implemented through so many different types of gear. One guy might have a chord drum machine, another guy might have a SP12, another guy might have an MPC, while the next guy is using analog everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, at that time, my brain was a fetus musically in production. And so I said to myself, yo, I need to figure out how Dr. Dre's beats get like that. I need to understand how the RZA's beats get like that. I need to understand how the Dungeon Family's beats sound so clean, beats by the pound. I need to figure it out. How does Busta Rhymes' album sound so crisp? And so I would gas the car up, and then I would just cruise around Chicago. I would just cruise. No particular place to go at all. I would just drive. Daytime, nighttime, mostly nighttime. I'll just be cruising, looking at the lights and whatnot. But what I would be doing is I would be studying. And that's what I would encourage you guys to do. Study your craft. So while I was studying, I would listen for certain qualities and certain things in the music. I was listening to Dr. Dre's kick. Like, I would listen to a whole album. I would listen to one song, and I would just listen to the kick. I would listen to the kick throughout an entire album, throughout a whole entire song. Listen to the kicks. How are these kicks sounding? What type of kick is this? What effects can I make out on this kick? Is there compression on this kick? Do I hear a little bit of reverb on this kick? Is there crunch on this kick? Is this kick mono? Is this kick stereo? And I would do that with each and every instrument. This snare, how does this snare pop? How does this snare crack? How does this snare, is it a big snare? Is it a little snare? Is the snare in tune with everything, or is it a little out of tune? Is it loose? Is it tight? Did the drummer tighten this snare like really super tight, or is it loose? Is it loosely played? Is it tightly, is it a little bit off sync? Does it have a lot of swing on it? Like, what is it about this snare and this hi-hat and this horn and this piano, and I would play songs over and over and over and over and over, and I would listen to the sample, I would listen to the grain, and I would listen to how clean it was, and I would listen to whether it sounded like it come from vinyl. Does it sound like this was played live in the studio? What is it about this particular piano? Why did this producer choose this piano? What about the placement? What about the chord structure? What chords were chosen? What notes were chosen? What is it about this sample that makes this song so infectious? What is what is it about this particular choice of instrumentation that works together so well? There's a piece of music made by Goody Mob. It's a very popular song, and I'm pretty sure you have heard it if you are a hip-hop enthusiast or aficionado. The hook goes, "Who's that peeking in my window? Pow, nobody now." That song has the most infectious piano of any piece of music that I've ever heard, and it's only like a 2-bar loop. It goes doo 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 doo, and that's it. And that loops throughout the whole song, no breaks, nothing, and it's just doo 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 doo, and it's got a little guitar, bam, bam. And if you've heard that before, you know how infectious that tiny little piano loop is. And so I did some digging, and they released a documentary on Netflix called Organized Noise. And it's a really good documentary where you get to look into the production of the Dungeon Family and Outkast, and you get to see how they created and where that sample took them, that one little tiny piano. He was a beginner producer at the time, and then he just came in the studio with this banger. And, that I would say that song changed hip hop in the South. Some people might disagree with me, but I think that song is definitive of a generation of people who look at modern times like it was prophecy. That song has so much, I can't go into too much. But yet, so study your craft, man. Study the musicality, study the temperament of the producer, if you can, if you're into that. Some people aren't into that, but you can really, if you study hard, you can kind of put yourself in the studio with the producers that you love by feeling the vibe of what that artist was trying to convey. When we make beats, we feel a certain type of way when we make the beat, right? We use those feelings and the intellect that we have to put the filters on and put the effects on and things like that we want to be conveyed, throughout the song. And so it's like, as a listener or as a student, you could totally study that. And so I did that with RZA. You know what I'm saying? I still continue to do that with some of the newer producers. I don't like a lot of the direction of producers with 808s these days, but that doesn't take away from the musicality of the songs. And it doesn't take away from the skill level of the producers, because I think a lot of producers do what consumers like. And if people like that 808 sounding like that, hey, who am I to judge? Who are me to judge? You feel me? Yeah, let's see here. I am looking at 20 minutes. All right, cool. So I'm probably not going to make this long podcast. I kind of dropped a lot of jewels right there. I dropped a whole bunch of jewels. Study your favorite writers. If you're a music writer, look at the podcast where I was talking about Alicia Keys yesterday. She's an amazing writer. Study Alicia. Study your boy, what's my man from Chicago? John Legend. Study his lyricism. You want to be an MC? Study Eminem. Study Busta Rhymes lyrics. And look at their choices. Look at their rhyme patterns. Look at the way that they choose to say that their rhymes and when they decide to take their breaths in between certain lyrics and certain words and emphasizing certain words and bending certain words in order to make them rhyme. Study that. Study your craft and become amazing. And not to take away from how amazing you already are, you know what I'm saying? Because you're totally amazing. Give the world the chance to see how amazing you can be, right? Show and prove. It's bro Luuh. It's been another dope podcast. Happy Tuesday. Happy holidays. If you don't listen to Christmas music, hey, it's all good. If you are Jewish and you listen to Jewish music, which I collect Jewish music on vinyl, you know what I'm saying? Happy Hanukkah. If you're a Muslim, I wish you a peaceful Ramadan, and I think that, you know, it's important for me to appreciate people from all walks of life, whether you're Buddhist, whether you are atheist, you don't believe in any organized religion at all. You're like, it's all garbage. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. So yeah, I'm gonna finish enjoying my coffee. Yeah, it's getting to that time of year where people start to show a lot of love for one another. But then also, especially with quarantine, I didn't even think about this, the mental health aspect of this time of year. Like, people get together during this time of year, and people who don't have family, and people who don't have loved ones, and people who are lonely, this is the time of year where people start to harm themselves. People start to do crazy stuff like jump off buildings and slit their wrist and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, on and on and on. So if you can, like, do something dope for somebody this season, do it. Do it. I tell people, yo, music is at its best when it's shared, man. Music is at its dopest when it's shared. You know, share something with somebody this season, and yeah. If you're not into the whole sharing thing, just think about how cold it is outside. Just think about how people are suffering, especially during COVID times. People aren't able to work and things like that. Like, show some love, spread some love. All right, it's your bro Luuh, and yeah, this been your Christmas music podcast. Not really, kind of, sort of. Study your craft and let the world see how awesome you are. I love you. All right? Let me say it again. I love you. If nobody else says it, if you haven't heard it today, you heard it here. All right, holla. Peace.